In the small, dusty village of Fierbinți, where gossip travels faster than the wind and humor is a form of survival, Dr. Dorel stands as one of the most paradoxical figures in Romanian television. His presence in Las Fierbinți is not just comic relief. It is a social mirror, a reflection of rural absurdity, bureaucracy, and human fragility. Doctorul Dorel, partea tăbui, continues to explore his contradictions, his moral decay, and the strange affection the audience feels for him. At first glance, Dorel is a caricature of incompetence, the doctor who misdiagnoses everyone, who prescribes nonsense, who drinks with his patients, who treats a hangover as a national emergency. Yet beneath the laughter, there is something tragic about him, something that forces us to look at the larger system that produced him. In the opening scenes, the camera lingers on Dorel's clinic, a crumbling, colorless room with outdated posters and a cabinet filled with dusty medicine bottles. It is both symbolic and literal decay. The setting itself tells us everything about the forgotten corners of rural Romania, where people have learned to laugh at despair. When Dorel enters, with his worn-out white coat and his permanently bewildered expression, the audience instantly recognizes not only his incompetence, but also his humanity. He is the man who stayed behind, who never left for the city, who learned to improvise because the system never gave him the tools to do better. The village, in its chaotic simplicity, treats him both as a doctor and as an entertainer. Every scene that unfolds with Dorel has a strange rhythm, a rhythm of confusion, denial, and unintended wisdom. When he argues with Primarul, the mayor, about funding for the clinic, it feels like a tragic comedy about the bureaucracy of healthcare. Both men use big words they barely understand. Both pretend to care about reform, but neither can change anything. The humor lies in their impotence, but also in their stubborn dignity. The villagers come to Dorel for everything: love advice, livestock problems, toothaches, and he tries to fix it all with the same reckless confidence. One of the most telling scenes is when he prescribes alcohol as a cure for sadness, arguing that laughter and brandy are cheaper than antidepressants. It is absurd, yet profoundly Romanian. There is a strange folkloric wisdom in Dorel's madness, a sense that he belongs to a generation that survived by joking about its pain. Dorel is also a man haunted by loneliness. The more we see him outside the clinic, the more we sense the emptiness behind his forced laughter. In one quiet moment, he sits by the lake, talking to himself, drinking cheap beer, and watching the reflection of the moon on the water. The scene is not comedic at all. It feels like an unexpected intrusion of melancholy into a world built on humor. The show's brilliance lies precisely in this balance between farce and tenderness. When Dorel visits Bobița's bar and starts a monologue about the meaning of life, half drunk and half sincere, it sounds ridiculous at first, but as his voice trembles, we realize it's also heartbreaking. Las Fierbinți is not afraid to show that clowns cry too. Watching Dorel in the second part, I am reminded of real doctors I met in small Romanian towns during my travels, men who had once dreamed of doing good but were slowly crushed by poverty, corruption, and habit. They learned to hide their despair behind sarcasm. Dorel's exaggerated incompetence is thus both satire and shield. It's the only way the show can talk about systemic failure without turning into a tragedy. The cinematography adds another layer to this emotional contradiction. The show's natural light, its unfiltered colors, its use of close-ups during arguments, all give the illusion of documentary realism. Doral's facial expressions, his squinting eyes, his nervous smile, are captured in a way that makes us laugh and pity him simultaneously. The absence of grand drama is what makes it all feel real. The pacing of this episode in particular is slower than usual. There are long silences, awkward pauses, moments when Doral just looks around the room, lost in thought. These pauses act as emotional punctuation marks. They remind us that behind every joke, there's fatigue. Behind every punchline, there's truth. One could even say that Las Fierbinți has achieved something rare in television. It turned mediocrity into art. Dr. Dorel, as a character, embodies everything broken and beautiful about small-town life. The pretensions, the gossip, the stubborn optimism, the absurdity of survival. His dialogues are filled with unintentional poetry. When he explains that health comes from laughter, he sounds foolish, but also strangely right. Because in Fierbinți, laughter is indeed a medicine. Watching this part, I could not help but compare Dorel to characters from other village-based comedies like The Vicar of Dibley or Schitt's Creek. Yet Dorel is different. He is less self-aware, more raw, more local. He is not trying to change the world. He is simply trying to keep it from falling apart. His failures make him more human, more lovable. By the end of the episode, when he walks back to his clinic under the flickering streetlights, humming an old tune, we understand him completely. He is the doctor who cannot heal himself. And perhaps that's why we need him so much, because in his foolishness, we see our own struggle to stay hopeful in a world that constantly disappoints.